Me. Red leather, yellow leather. Man, a plan to Canal Panama. Okay, bet you thought I was never gonna actually get back to this project. Bet you thought I was a big fat liar. No, of course not. I would never lie to you. So here we are again with the John Nicole Justine GBA SP AGS 001. And it's in pretty bad shape. All the paint worn off. And the biggest problem here is it's missing a battery door. It didn't come with a battery or a battery door, so I guess the plan is to take it apart, or I guess even before that, just do some general testing, because it's got some problems. It's got some issues. But as you can see, I feel like I have pretty much everything I need to address those issues. Got the Funny Playing IPS screen, and I got a battery, again, from Funny Playing. But yeah, so let's just do a couple more tests on this. Let's start by plugging in this crappy charger. We'll just see if a light comes on, because I'm not going to put the battery in just yet. No charging light. All right, let's slam a battery in here. Yeah, there's much cheaper alternatives like on AliExpress and stuff, but I was doing the Funny Playing order already, and I figured they'd probably have a higher quality product. Absolutely perfect. The charge light comes on. Sure, that's what that little orange guy means. And I guess flip it on. Get a reminder of how completely fucked this screen is. I mean, it looks terrible, but if you were really hard up, you know, back in the day, I would have played a Game Boy with this screen for sure. Of course, I've never seen anything like that. I think I mentioned that in the short. Such a weird, trippy effect that's going on there. It's like this purple sheen. I don't know what's causing that. I guess some of the layers, maybe like one of the polarizer filters is just breaking down in a weird way. Well, it doesn't really matter though, because we'll be completely replacing the screen anyways. But yeah, looks like it turns on and it still doesn't have volume. You can see got the volume wheel all the way cranked. And if I'm holding it at like a normal distance, I can't hear anything. So audio's boned, screen's boned, charging circuit seems to work. I'm not sure what's wrong with the audio circuit. I've done a little bit of research about the AGS 001 common flaws or failure modes, and there's a lot of online sellers selling one specific capacitor that will supposedly fix the audio issues. You know, I wasn't convinced that it was just that capacitor, but I also bought this, the little FPC audio amplifier board, and it was really cheap, so I figured I'd buy this at the same time I was buying the speaker, because I just wanted to cover all my bases. And of course, in order to replace the capacitor, I could either buy just that single capacitor for like $5, or for the same price, I could get one of these. So I made sure it's got the values I need in there. I will probably be replacing that capacitor, whether it's bad or not. All right, so I think we've proved everything we can without actually taking the damn thing apart. So let's open this up and see how grotty it is. Take out the battery before we take it apart. Why don't we? Ooh, and look at this. Rust-O-Matic. This Game Boy did actually come from Hawaii. I haven't looked up how to do this. I'm just gonna wing it. Seems pretty easy. And I've watched enough retro future videos. So I'm gonna start with my smallest tri-wing bit. And let's take out this incredibly rusty screw first. Give it a good bit of downward pressure. The other tri-wing screw is here in the back of the battery bay. Not rusty. 4 also tri-wings around. And these are slightly longer zinc chromate coated screws. All right, I'm assuming that this is just going to lift off now. That it does. Brings the shoulder buttons with it. Ooh. Grunge. Nice. Ooh, man, that is some human goop there. This Game Boy was well loved and well lived in. Here we are. Oof, yeah, there's quite a bit of corrosion around the place. It just looks like this was in a very humid environment. Hopefully this will clean up nicely. All of whatever that plating, like nickel plating, is just gone, flaked off. There's 3 screws to take the board out. I'm forgetting everything now. Yep, iFixit guide to the rescue. I'm just gonna take out the motherboard. It's just really nice to have an iFixit guide open, even though this thing is like incredibly straightforward. I just don't want to do anything stupid, so it gives me some confidence because I am apt to do stupid things. So now we got to get the Phillips bit. Got these 3 screws. Phillips 00. All right, now the motherboard should be free, but there is the screen ribbon cable still attaching it. Oh, I see. It's one of those kind. It's got the 2 little latches, plastic spudger here. Coax that out. There we go. Perfect. Speaker. Pretty clever arrangement. It's just got 2 little gold contacts, almost like pogo pins, but simpler. Press on the board. Set this part aside. Gather up all these buttons that flew everywhere. There's more test points per square millimeter than any other board I've ever seen, I think. For some reason, I thought there was going to be more electrolytic capacitors around the place, but literally that little guy is the only one. 4-volt, 100 microfarad capacitor. Let me see if I have a replacement. Yep, I think that'll do. 10-volt, 100 microfarad, but it doesn't matter if the voltage is a little bit higher. You just don't want it to be lower than the rated voltage. So yeah, I think that's the correct size. It looks like the correct size. Yeah, the next size down I have is significantly smaller. I think the footprint will fit. Let's whip that capacitor off and replace it. I'm gonna bring out the microscope for that. All right, let's plonk down some blue tack. This project deserves a fresh piece. I did think about how I should go about doing this, and I ended up getting some of this stuff. This is fast chip low melt solder. This stuff is expensive, but supposedly you only need a little bit of it. And that way I don't have to like throw hot air at the board. It's an electrolytic capacitor, so they will pop if you put too much heat into them. I feel like this is the right way to go. All right, got my iron set to 350. I'm gonna spoot out some flux first. Yeah, this stuff does behave weird. It always looks weird in the videos. Side is soaked. There we go. There it is. He's off. Now let's clean up the low melt solder. Yeah, you don't want to leave low melt on the board or else it's very weak and brittle and it doesn't make strong connections. Now I'm wondering if I should pre-tin those pads or if I should just plop the little capacitor on there, then solder it on. I think I'm going to try it that way. There it is. Yep, it's not straight, but good enough. Let's go ahead and clean up the board with some isopropyl alcohol. And we're going to get the whole board real clean later, but for now I just want to get the flux residue off. You know what? That's not half bad. Check out those solder joints, and they look
solid,
not wobbly or anything. Happy with that. Now I'm curious, was this faulty at all? Let's find out. I'm going to bring in my little component tester here. Oh, it's taken a while. This usually means that there's something wrong with it. Well, it says 32 microfarads with a ESR of 0.15 kiloohms. Pretty sure that's not good. Let me test it one more time, just 0.15 kiloohms. That's 150 ohms. Pretty sure it shouldn't be that high. I don't know, though. And VLOS 18%. You know, I don't really know what those mean at all, but I'm fairly certain that the ESR should be lower than that. Yeah, whenever it takes forever to test, that usually means it's not good. No unknown or damaged part. Huh. Interesting. Oh no, I just dropped it. Yeah, I think this thing is toast. So I think it was the right call to take it off the board. Yeah, no, this thing's dead. So that was probably the reason that the audio just was incredibly quiet. I'm super curious. I want to, you know what? I'm going to do it. I am going to just loosely put this back together and see if that actually fixed the audio issue. All right, got none of the buttons in, none of the screws in. See if it actually gives us a chime. What is that Game Boy sound called? Tell me in the comments. That's not good. It's not turning on now. Oh, fuck. Did I already break this thing? All right, again, no screws. I put a couple of the buttons in for no reason because I'm weird. Yeah, I just got it back together, stuck the battery in. I really hope I didn't break it. I put the screen ribbon cable in, but I'm not sure if it's correct or in there all the way, so let's see. Are you kidding me? It sounds great. I mean, it doesn't sound great. It sounds like a Game Boy speaker, but... Dude, so that capacitor was faulty, and that did fix the audio issues. Oh my God! That is so exciting. Oh, wow. I was scared there for a moment that I had already borked this thing. But I actually did fix the audio issue with that. And I didn't even have to use this replacement speaker or the amplifier mod. Sweet. Okay, that makes me feel a bit better. I'm a little bit worried because the screen didn't turn on, but I probably just don't have the ribbon cable in there all the way. And we're replacing the screen anyways. Yeah, there you go. The ribbon cable was like barely hanging on. I'm curious though. I want to try it again and get the ribbon cable all the way seated this time and see if it actually gives us a screen too. Yep, it's working. Okay, thank bejesus. Now I'm going to take it all back apart. I'm going to scrub down this PCB, continue to disassemble the rest of this, make sure I get all the components out of it that I need for putting in the new shell. Well, pardon the jump cut, but I had to resort to rather extreme measures in order to get to this state, all because of that guy who's absurd. Oh well, at least I salvaged this working board. But while it's working, it is also incredibly filthy. This thing is still in desperate need of a bath, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, here it is all laid out, the deconstructed Game Boy Advance SP. And yeah, the shell components cleaned up pretty nice. And I've got it all separated out. And in this corner here, we have all of the bad guys. The screen, of course. This bad capacitor. This, the most mean of all, the freaking rusty screw. Then here's all the hardware. So I went ahead and ordered a hardware kit, but then after I ordered it, I looked at the package for the shell this morning, and it's got freaking hardware in there. So I think I should probably open this up fully and see actually what's all in there. But one thing I'm fairly confident won't be in there is these hinges. So I think I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and get these hinges out, because I'm pretty positive that I'm gonna have to use that on the new build. Really hope these aren't rusted in place. Oh, I got it. Yeah, just had to kind of like go around and bend them all in. Pop it out. Yeah, that was not too bad. Excellent. Oh, this is like a trim piece. Yeah, we'll just put that aside for now and try and get this other one out. Yep, and there we go. Cool, hinges out. All right, here are all the old parts that I will not be using. Here are the broken parts, and here is the new build in its entirety. This should be everything I need. So I'm pretty stoked we can finally actually get to building in this thing. But yeah, I got the funny playing tutorial instructions for my screen. Then I guess we gotta actually like test this thing. Please test before installation. So I'm gonna do that. LCD driver board out of here. This goes into that ribbon cable connector. All right, so it looks like this doesn't go that way. It has to go with the polyamide non-contact side up. All right, that's down. You can see that these little tabs, they usually like butt up against the connector, but in this case, they're not at all close to the connector. But in the instructions, it shows it like that. So I'm pretty sure that's connected correctly. So now we just have to connect the other side of this ribbon cable to the actual screen connector on the Game Boy. So that's solid on there, completely inserted. You can still see some of the pins, but I'm pretty sure that's fine. Yeah, I think we're ready to turn it on and give it a first test. There we go, beautiful. And obviously I don't have the speaker in, so it's not making. That is gorgeous. I'm gonna get a close up on that. Obviously I still have the film on here, so it's, you know, not gonna look that great, but it's so bright and beautiful. Look at that. That's so sick. Okay, good to know. The screen works. Awesome. So now I can continue with this and solder it on, and if anything happens from here on out, it's all my fault. Let's bring in the shell. Let's just test fit this real quick. Okay, let me boil this down. There should have been something that actually holds the board in position. Just a couple of tiny tabs. It's just so freaking fiddly. But that's about how it should go, right? I'm gonna just assume that's how it's gotta be done. But first, I'm gonna clean off this surface because I just got fingerprints all over it and I just don't want it to, I want it to stick down nicely. All right, get ready to watch me struggle. Okay, oh, okay. Okay, this is making more sense now. If it will sit fine like that, that's how I want it. That makes sense. Yeah, and everything's lining up. I already got it all cleaned off. I'm gonna peel off this sticky. Go. Got everything in the right position. It's just perfectly lined up in the corner there. There we go. Boom. Now we can peel off the sticky on this guy and stick down the little touch sensor. Just like that. Cool. Okay, that feels like a solid unit now. Cool. All right. You can put this back in the frame. Yeah, that's installed. I think I did good there. Front cover back on with the flex cable rolled up in there, and I'm gonna use a little piece of capped on tape to just keep this thing from popping apart. Now we can put the screws in that I've so carefully arranged here. And the 5 screws that go in the front here are the 3.5 millimeter screws. And we gotta be careful to put these in nice and straight because in a brand new shell, you're gonna be cutting threads for the first time. You don't want to over tighten those either. Could very well crack the plastic. Now I want to make sure that this screen is solidly in there. Yeah, you don't want it rattling around at all, but it seems like I got it in there pretty solidly. It's not moving at all. If it is a little bit loose in there, just take it apart again and make sure that the little frame is seated right where it needs to be. Now we can put in these rubber baby buggy bumpers. So there's the thinner ones, and that's gonna go in the middle and the bottom two, and then the thicker guy is gonna go into this part and this part, and that's just a little cushion for when you close the hinge. And you got to make sure that your screws are all the way bottomed out, otherwise these will not fit in properly. Yeah, they should fully seat down in there. If they feel loose, back out the screw, make sure the whole thing is flat, and then put the screw back in and make sure that it goes into the second screw post. And the bumpers here have a domed side and a flat side. And you just got to make sure that the dome side is facing outwards. So now that we got the screen assembled, we can put that to the side for now. Next, we can turn our attention back to the motherboard. You know what? Scratch that. We're not quite ready for this yet, so let's gently take this guy back out. I completely forgot that we need to put on the L&R bumpers. So for that, we're going to need these hinge pins and the springs. The springs, while they look identical, they're actually mirror images of one another. So this is the right hand spring and this is the left hand spring. You can tell they're mirror if I flip one around. You can see how the coil, the bent end comes out on this side on this one, whereas the bent end comes out on the other side on that one. This is going to be the right spring, I believe, and this is the left spring. So the spring is going to lay, the pin goes through the middle of the spring, and that the bent side lays into that little groove that's molded into the plastic there. And once you get it in like that, you're going to have to bend it back down and hold it in place while you put it into the shell. Once you have it in the shell, the straight part should slip into that little hook. To get it into place, you can stick the pin through. Let's do the same thing for this left button. Keep getting ahead of myself here. I forgot that we need to put in the cartridge slot cover, and it just lays in here right about like that. Now that we have this whole back shell prepared, let's go ahead and turn our attention to the front shell, where the motherboard will eventually sit. So the first thing that has to go down is the buttons. Just got these off the sprues, they're looking beautiful. Go ahead and put our membranes in. These I took from the original Game Boy. Now we can put our speaker in. One more thing we need to put in here, this little light guide. Oh geez, okay. So I took off the button membranes, the buttons again, and the speaker. First, I have to slide the ribbon cable through that little gap. One corner in, and then get the other corner in. Okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Okay, now we can actually put the whole thing together. Jesus, yeah. So I should have had it like this before I did all of that. So just pretend that's how I did it. Now, can we put this hinge cover on yet? I think we can. Grab one of these longer guys. So now, I think we can actually put in these hinges. Pretty sure that this is the right and this is the left. Not positive, but I do know that I need to put on these little hinge covers. Those just slide on to the end. Slide them on the side opposite of that little plastic stop. Yeah, so that's going on the right way. Let's see if it pops all the way in now. Yes. Okay, I think I have this sussed out. If you look in there, there's two sets of little tabs that poke out there. One in this piece, one that's a lot harder to see, but there is a smaller set of tabs in this piece. What I have to do is I have to line those up the way they would be in its normally open position. Not like fully open, but it's normally open, like resting position. Okay, so that seems to be lined up. Then again, just line up the flats on this side so that they will pass by, sort of like latch into with this little groove. Ah, yes, got it. I felt it that time. Yes, yes, that was it. Aha. Perfect. Feels smooth. Awesome. Okay, now we can lay this down and get the ribbon cable plugged in. Okay, that's fully on there. Now I just need to solder this wire to its test pad. I need to figure out where that is. So let's get the microscope out and do it that way. So it looks like I need to solder this little circular pad over to, all the way over to this pad up here that's labeled Q12B. Let's tag the wire onto that first, and then we'll solder it to the ribbon cable. Microscopic little wire that they shipped with it. Provide the wire. Hair thin. And I'm using my itty bitty conical bent tip. Let's flux it up. 12B. In the pad. Go. Little wire on there. Solder on there. There we go. Get that solder ball off the board. Why don't we? All right, that's on there solidly. So let's go over to our ribbon cable. Up first. Hate soldering. Took solder pretty well. Okay, now let's route this wire. Clean the board off real quick, and then I'll put some Kapton tape to keep that on there. Real gentle. Okay. 99% sure that I can actually put these buttons in now. Finally flip this board over. Lay it down. Screws back in. Okay, solid. Do a little button test real quick. Okay, they feel good. I think I need to put in this little cover, 2 little screws. Are we actually putting this on? No way. No way. Holy crap. Beginning to look like its final form. All right, let's put in all the long screws. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this little thing in the battery compartment's a shorter screw, but these 5 are going to be longer screws. So upon closer inspection, I believe the last short screw goes here, because if I put a long screw up to that, that just seems like it's going to bust through. So yeah, I'm going to put the shorter screw here, and then everywhere else, these 4 and that's going to be long screws. Does the battery fit in? It does. Oh, getting close. We do have 1 long screw left over, but I can't think of any place that it's missing. If you know, put it in the comments, I guess. Put the battery door on. Oh, wait a minute. That's not right. These must not fully be down. Oh yeah, there was a ton more to go with that. This side's loose too. I just didn't screw it down all the way. That's fully down now. Oh, one last little detail that I almost forgot. Gotta put on the little Nintendo badge. So make sure it sticks well. They did a pretty close approximation of the real thing. It's not terrible. From a distance, you'd never be able to tell the difference. But yeah, it does kind of tie the whole thing together. Okay, now moment of truth. Please. Yes. Holy shit. One more time. Fuck yes. Oh my god, I'm so happy. Oh, it looks so dope too. Oh, we got our power LED. Let's get a charger. Plug it in, make sure it's charging, I guess. Go. We got a charge LED. And power LED. And sound. Beautiful. Wow. Now, I mean, I guess I gotta test it with a game. Or you know what we should do? We should test the functionality of the screen. Let's do that. Okay, the first thing that I want to test is this little touchpad. Yeah, there should be 16 levels. So that's 1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
That's the brightest, and then it should go back to boom. One thing I didn't check is, does the normal brightness button work with this new screen? And that it does. Okay, good. Okay, that's cool. Now, how do I access the OSD menu? I'm gonna look that up. Okay, so I think I understand how this works. So what we have to do is we have to long press the brightness button. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, cool. So now we can go up and down through the brightness settings. And we long press. This is color modes. So there's just a few color palettes. DSP is display effect. 1 is full pixel display, so that's all the pixels, the full resolution. 2 is interpolation. So if you're playing games that aren't matched to the, like not actual Game Boy games. 3 is retro CRT, so it turns off every other pixel. What does this do? Mixed frame is all it says. Mixed frame. I don't understand what that does. And then CG. Oh, color gamut. So you can change the color temperature, I guess, basically. It was set to 2. Oh yeah, that looks terrible. It's like puke green. Standard. A little bit on the cool side, I guess. A little bit warm, but brighter. I kind of like 3. Yeah, I'm going to leave it on 3 for now. That's basically it, and then you just wait for it to time out. That's all functional. The whole screen fully screening. Let's put in the old ROM cart, see if it works. So why did they use the freaking microSD logo? First of all, like, I don't know. I mean, it does take a microSD card, but like you don't advertise that on your main product logo. And then is that like Boba Fett? Like what the fuck? Okay, and that's like the S from Street Fighter. So this is just weird, graphic design salad throwing shit at the wall. And anyways, it worked. It's a ROM cart, so whatever. Probably won't look too terrible with the purple shell in the green Game Boy. Actually, honestly, that looks kind of rad. All right, I was real confused there for a second. So I just tested it on my little DS Lite, which has its own little flash cart in it, little fake R4 card. But I took that out and I plugged in the cartridge and it worked. It pulled up games. So I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. But I figured maybe it was just like the contacts. It had to be slid in and out a few times because, although I cleaned those with deoxit, they're still pretty old and oxidized. So sure enough, I put it in and out a couple times. That's what she said. And then lo and behold, boom, we're in. Let's pick a game. Super Street Fighter. This is all stuff that came with this flash cart, by the way. Kirby, Nightmare in Dreamland. I mean, Pokemon's always a good way to go. I've never played Ruby. Actually, I haven't played anything since like Yellow, for the Game Boy at least. All right, it looks good. Oh, I just realized the screen looks so good. Oh my god, it beats the hell out of an original AGS 001 screen. It sounds great. The sound is awesome. Wow. This is so sick. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Okay, press start. Let's see if the start button works. Uh-oh. That's not good. Pokemon Ruby in card. I don't know. I still don't know how to manage these. No, doesn't like the start button. I feel like maybe it's just not reading well anymore. Let's take this out, in and out a couple times. Let's put a little deoxit on these contacts. Okay, do this a couple times with deoxit on there. Oh, it's working. It's working. No way. Okay, please don't freeze. Oh, it's fucking working. Yes, yes. Okay, I just want to get in game, walk around a little bit, make sure all the direction keys work. Oh my God, just let me walk around, Jesus. Pokemon movers. Sounds a little bit like slavery. Okay, now I can walk around. Yes, okay, all the directions are working. It's real responsive. Let's go up to my room. Open the menu with start. Record progress with save. Can I open the menu? Oh my God, I can. Okay, that's it. I did it. We're done. It's a Game Boy Advance SP Extreme Green Shell, and there's going to be, spoiler, more Extreme Green Shells to come. Thanks for watching. If you got this far in the video, seriously, thanks for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed all this mucking about. And yeah, if you enjoy this kind of stuff, please get subscribed. I would really appreciate it. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. But for now, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Later.